So we're not just talking about your own personal control. We're talking about the leverage that you then elicit from non-physical energy. You are powerful creators, and when you tap in to this energy stream, when you find the frequency that is the frequency of source. So here's how it works. You were source energy before you came into this physical body. And as you came into this physical body, only a part of that which is you, really you, is focused here. An important part, a magnificent part. So here you are, sifting through the contrast, seeing the data, knowing what you don't want, sending rockets of desire about what you do want. And that vibrational emanation from you is then understood by source energy and is held by source energy as an advanced announcement of what you will live, and as a current announcement of who you have now become, who the larger part of you is. So every time you have a conversation, every time you are reading a book, every time you are engaged in any kind of thought, you are expanding. The question that this gathering wants to call your attention to and help you find the answer to is, are you staying up to speed? Are you in the general vicinity of the expansion that your own life is causing you to accomplish? And the answer to that question is known by you in the emotions that you feel. Because if you feel good, if you're frisky, if you're having fun, if you're feeling elation, if appreciation comes easily to you, if you're overwhelmed with love, if you're finding yourself tuned in, tapped in, turned on, feeling vital and alive and enthusiastic and passionate about life, then the answer to that question is yes. You are in this moment in vibrational alignment with all that you've become. But if you're feeling pensive, if you're feeling irritation or aggravation, if you're overwhelmed, if you're feeling frustration or anger, if you're feeling guilt or blame, if you're feeling any of those negative emotions like grief or despair or fear, then you are not in the vibrational proximity of that which you have come to be. And that's the only thing that you ever need to know your relationship with. You don't need to know what others think about this or that. You don't need to know what's going on with others. You don't need to take a poll like the politicians to make sure that you get it right for the majority, although they seem to care less about that all the time. All you are wanting to do, the only relationship that you are wanting to establish, is the relationship between you and you, which means if you care about the way you feel and you are able to more and more control the way you feel, then you've got hold of your vibrational offering. And then you are enacting the leverage of the energy that creates worlds. Source energy at your back, flowing through your focus, flowing through your lens, and all kinds of magnificent things happen. We've been talking to you about how you send off these rockets of desire, and these rockets of desire are contained in this vibrational reality. We've been referring to this vibrational reality. In fact, we wrote a whole book about it called The Vortex. The vortex is who you actually are. All that you want is gathered there. And law of attraction has gathered all of the cooperative components. And we tease with you. We ask you, are you one of the cooperative components to your own desire? And sometimes you are and sometimes you aren't. But here is this vibrational version that precedes everything that materializes. And now we want you to understand your relationship with that vibrational version, because you've created it. You created it through an experience that you were having, an exposure to life. But the question that we want you to focus upon often is, am I, now that I've created this vibrational version, where am I in relationship to it? What is my current point of attraction? So get this picture. Here's this vortex of creation. We've been calling it different things. It's a vibrational reality. It's your vortex. So here's this vortex that is spinning. It's the vibrational version of who you are and all that you want. And all of the cooperative components, all of the vibrationally cooperative components have been gathered. And then we tease you, are you one of them? Are you one of the cooperative components? The answer to that question lies in what you're thinking about here and now. In other words, if you've been asking for more money and right now you're complaining about not having enough, or feeling fearful or worried about your own budget, then in that moment of whatever you've focused upon that is causing you to feel that fear, you're not a cooperative component to your own vortex. And so that vortexual content cannot flow into your experience where you will realize it. And that really is the thing that we want you to understand. You are the realizer of vibrational versions of things. Now, when we were talking to you about this vibrational reality, of course, we're speaking to you of the vibrational reality that you have launched, that we are standing in the middle of. In other words, we adore getting right in the middle of the vibrational reality that you've created, because first of all, it's exciting and fun to see all that you've gathered. And it is also very satisfying for us, that larger non-physical part of you, to be a vibrational match to that version that you have created. So exhilarating for us to get to live your expansion even before you allow yourself to live it. So there's a vibrational reality that you have created, which contains everything that you want most. And it meshes with the whole of who you are, that pure, positive energy being. So now, we want you to realize that not only is this vibrational version available, but every thought that you think sends out a vibrational reality. In other words, there's that complaining reality. There's that worried reality. Those things that you have created through the power of your mind. So, as we're trying to get you to understand your point of attraction in relationship to your vibrational reality, to your vortex, we say to you, this point of attraction, we've called it different things. We've called it the grid because it's like a structure, the beginning of a structure that will fill in later with all of the fleshed out things that make you able to see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. But we want you to realize that this vibrational place where you stand, we're calling it your spinning grid disc. Stay up with us. It changes every day. Your spinning grid disc. We're reaching for different ways for you to figure out what your point of attraction is. But you could pick the high-flying one that feels like elation and love and freedom and joy and expansion and enthusiasm and all of those good things. Or you could choose the one that feels like grief and despair. Or you could choose overwhelmed. There is really a sort of vibrational grid disc. Esther likens it to the 7 dwarves. You know, there's the happy disc, and there's the bashful one, grumpy, passive-aggressive, dysfunction. Esther's up to about 200 dwarfs now. So here are these spinning grid discs, and you can tell by who meets up with you what disc you're on. If you're surrounded by a bunch of ornery people, you're on the ornery disc. It's just that simple. They didn't come to annoy you. They rendezvoused with you because they are perfect vibrational partners. The other day, Esther was interacting with some people who she didn't know, and she said to them, law of attraction must be broken. I'm sure something went terribly wrong. And of course, it's never broken, is it? It's always reflecting back to you exactly what you've got going on vibrationally. So now as you think about these spinning grid discs, and you can tell by the way you feel which one you're on, if you are on the ornery disc, you're not lining up vibrationally with what's in your vibrational reality. In other words, you've put wonderful things there. You've put clarity there. You've put passion there. You've put all manner of things that life has helped you to sort out and define as that which you are, of that which you want to be. And so as you begin to pay more attention to which of these spinning discs you are choosing in any moment, then you begin to understand what's coming into your experience. Now, we'll talk more about that later because it's such an important concept, and we really want you, by the end of this gathering, by the end of this cruise, we want you to really understand that fully, because as you're able to place yourself consciously on these vibrational spinning discs, then you will understand unequivocally why every single thing that ever happens to you or to anyone that you know is happening. You'll begin to see that it is a vibrational choice that they're making or that you're making first. And of course, once you practice that, then it becomes more and more and more and more and more.